everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a swatch and review of the OPI Pop Culture collection. There are 6 polishes in this collection and they are all textured polishes. I've mentioned textured polishes before on my channel and how much I love them. Pretty much if there's a collection that releases or a polish that releases, especially mainstream, that's textured, I'm gonna pick it up. So I have the majority of the Zoya Pixie Dust. I had the Sally Hansen ones, I can't remember, like the Candy Coat collection, and OPI actually a long time ago released a like sand dust or liquid sand collection or something like that, and they were textured polishes. They've released a few here and there in a few collections. I know they had one in the Alice in Wonderland collection, and honestly textured polishes are not very popular. I know a lot of times that when they release them in collections, people don't really gravitate towards them, but for me personally, I love them, and the reason that I love them is because they last so long on my nails, and I typically only need 1 to 2 coats of it, no base coat, no top coat, and I'm good to go. They dry relatively quickly because they do dry down matte. I just love them. Of course, I decided to pick up this collection and I'm really excited to share my thoughts and opinions for you guys. So the first polish in the collection is called Bumpy Road Ahead, and this is actually the darkest color in the collection. It's a little bit brighter than a navy blue. It's definitely a deeper and darker blue. It has a little bit of like a purple undertone to it, and there's also this kind of greenish bluish sheen running throughout the polish. It's kind of like a pearl-like sheen or a pearl-like shimmer. Out of all of the polishes in the collection, this one is the one that has the most apparent sheen or the most apparent shimmer without adding a top coat. The texture on all of these polishes is like a white texture, so it's going to look like little air bubbles once the polish fully dries down and the texture kind of seeps through. This one was fully opaque on me in just 2 coats, but I think it's because it is a richer color than most of the other polishes in the collection. The next one is called Hate to Burst Your Bubble, and this is like a canary yellow. It's not as intense as most of the neon yellows that I have in my collection, so I wouldn't necessarily call this neon, but it's definitely on the brighter side, and this has a very fine gold shimmer running throughout the polish. This one, however, did disappoint me. I did 3 coats and I could still see a little bit of my nail line, but honestly once it dried down and the texture was a little bit more apparent, it kind of camouflaged that nail line a little bit more. I think this one would benefit from like a very fine gold shimmer top coat. I can't ever remember the name, but it's like the gold equivalent of China Glaze's Fairy Dust, for instance. That would be a beautiful top coat to wear on top of this. I think it would kind of amplify that shimmer or that sheen that runs throughout the polish and kind of add a little bit of something extra to it. But for the swatch pictures I just showed you guys what this looked like after 3 coats. The next polish in the collection is the Bubblegum Pink, and this is called Pink Bubbly. Like I said, this polish is a beautiful bright bubblegum pink, and there is a gold sheen running throughout the polish. That sheen flashes like this bright like fuchsia purpley color. It's honestly not as apparent on the nails because it does have like that pinky purple shift to it. It kind of blends in with the base color, so in my opinion this is the one that's the least apparent on the nails. And this one had a decent formula. This one wasn't quite opaque on me in 2 coats. I could still see a little bit of my nail line, so I decided to do 3 coats. I think it looked a lot better with 3 coats, but it really depends, on your preference, how long your nails are, and your application, if you can get this opaque in either 2 coats or 3 coats. So the next polish in the collection is this beautiful bright orangey red. This one is called OPI Pops, and this also has a gold sheen or shimmer running throughout the polish. The sheen in here is somewhat apparent on the nails, definitely not apparent as the first polish that I talked about, and this also took me 2 coats to get fully opaque. And again, I think it is because it has a much more like richer color and a richer base. It did build up pretty nicely in 2 coats. I tried doing 3 coats to see if it would intensify the color, and it did just a little bit, but not enough to say that this is a 3-coat coater. I would definitely call this a solid 2 coater. So the next polish in the collection is the purpley lavender one. This is in the color Pop Star. I wouldn't necessarily call this a grape purple. It is a little bit lighter. It has a little bit more of a white base than a typical grape purple. I was really drawn to this color because it's a little bit more subtle than all of the other colors in the collection. I feel like the other colors in the collection are a very bright pop of color. And I also really like this because this has a very fine kind of iridescent sheen running throughout the polish. So sometimes it looks purple, sometimes it looks blue. This is also somewhat apparent on the nails. I feel like it's more apparent when you put some type of top coat on it, but you also want to make sure you don't wear a top coat that is too thick of a top coat because it'll take away the texture. But the formula on this is a little bit on the thin side, so, or at least the colored bases. So this actually took 3 coats to be fully opaque, but I don't mind because I think the end results after 3 coats is absolutely stunning. I really enjoyed wearing this nail polish. I like this polish. Definitely one of the ones that I would recommend picking up from the collection if you like those like softer colors. So then the last polish in the collection is another blue. This is kind of like a jean colored blue. This is in the color or in the shade Days of Pop. And this also has like an iridescent sheen running throughout the polish, but it flashes in between a blue and a green. And this one honestly was my least favorite in the collection. It is a little bit on the sheer side, and I ended up doing 3 coats with this and it still wasn't like what I wanted. It still wasn't quite what you see in the bottle. So I did a 4th coat with this, but honestly, anything after 3 coats is just not worth it in my opinion. So this one again was my least favorite in the entire collection because it was so difficult to build up that color to get exactly what you see in the bottle. And the color in the bottle is an absolutely gorgeous color, but I don't know, I wasn't as impressed with the formula of this. Perhaps if I wore a nail polish color that was similar to this as a base and I would just wear this on top as a textured topper, that would be nice, but I was a little bit disappointed in that one. So I wouldn't really recommend that one. But that's it. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the OPI Pop Culture collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you do. Let me know if you guys picked up any of the polishes from this collection or if you guys like or don't like textured polishes. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I currently post 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then on Sunday or every other Sunday I like to post a weekly makeup basket. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.